Hello folks, I'm whipping through these lease deals today. 3 months up front, 3-year deals. Some are 2 years actually, so a mixture of the two. 10,000 miles a year on all of them. We've got the EVs, then we've got plug-in hybrids, then we've got petrol and diesels and mild hybrids, and there's also a diesel van in this video. I will be throwing those in when there's a really good deal. Vauxhall Frontera 83 kilowatt GS, 186 miles of range, 113 brake horsepower, insurance group 16 and 460 litres of boot space. 2-year deal, 700 quid up front, 235 a month. It's only ever been £2 less than this. 468's been the average on it, 594 at its peak. That looks like a bit of a Billy bargain to kick things off. The Aura 3 GT editions, 248 miles of range, 228 litres of boot space, insurance group 22, 171 brake horsepower, 254 a month with 763 up front. So 3-year deal, and look at that price drop. These have been 565 on average, 609 at their peak, 254 at this new low price. MG4 Trophy long range, 270 miles of range, 289 litres of boot space, insurance group 29, 203 horsepower. Don't forget, it's a rear wheel drive car with a fairly short wheelbase. They're good fun on the back roads. 775 up front, 258 a month. 301's been the average on it, 398 at its peak. Its lowest point was about £1 less than it is now. Ford Puma Gen E Select, 233 miles of range, 167 horsepower, 556 litres of boot space, insurance group 18, 802 up front, 267 a month on a 2-year deal. And look at this one, 428 a month on average, 696 at its peak, and 267.56. Today's price is the lowest we've seen it. Link to Lease logo in the video description. Please use that if you're going to look at any of these cars. There's also a QR code on your screen, so you can scan that on your phone if you're watching on the telly. Renault Scenic E-Tech Techno. This is a brilliant price on this car. It's a great car. 381 miles of range, 217 horsepower, insurance group 33 and 545 litres of boot space. This is a pretty uncompromising car that will stick you and your family in and will give you a really good real world range. 7.9 seconds to 62, so it's not sluggish. 376 a month's been the average on it. 444 at its peak, and its lowest point was 16 pence a month less than it is now. It's 287 a month with 861 up front, and that's on a 3-year deal. That's a bargain. Nissan Aria, 251 miles of range on this one. I'm not going to go through the stats because we've seen it enough. 900 up front, 304 a month. Average on that one, 458. Lowest price on it's £4 a month less than it is now. Highest point was 538. Ford Capri Style was next with the driver assist pack, 242 miles of range, so it's the smaller battery version, 567 litres of boot space, insurance group 21 and 170 brake horsepower. 422 a month on average, 373 at the moment. Lowest price was £4 a month less than it is now. 1119 up front and 373 a month. Enyaq IV Coupe 85X Sport Line, 334 miles of range, 570 litres of boot space, insurance group 39, 1300 up front and 429 a month. 526 the average, 662 at its peak, and 427 its lowest point, so £2 a month less than it is now. Great prices throughout this one, folks. Genesis GV60 Premium Automatic with the Comfort Pack, 432 litres of boot space, insurance group 40, 321 miles of range, super fast charging, 1300 up front, 444 a month. 638 has been the average. This is the lowest price we've seen it, 746 at its peak, so we're miles underneath that at the moment. Polestar 4 long-range dual motor plus 367 miles of range, 526 litres of boot space, 544 brake horsepower, insurance group 48, and 0-62 in 3.8 seconds. That's a Ferrari beater, that one. 1600 up front and 534 a month. Its lowest point was 150 less than it is now. At its peak, it was double this pretty much, £1,031 a month. Audi A6 e-tron Avant Edition 1, 332 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, 502 litres of boot space, 1900 up front, 632 a month. 990's been the average on it. 1281 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it on that exceptional car. This is an interesting one. This is a no deposit 18-month deal, so you've just got 18 straight monthly payments of 659 quid, and it's on the awesome Hyundai Ioniq 5N. So if you fancy 18 months of madness, here's your chance, folks. 659 quid a month, I don't think it's terrible on that. If we went up to, say, 3 years on it with 3 months up front, you're looking at 661 a month. And look at that. The deal's already gone. While I'm making this video, the deal's changed. So it's now 714 quid a month, which doesn't look anywhere near as good. So I'm going to move on. Thanks to ALA for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to go and check out ALA if you're in the market for some gap insurance on your new lease car, or indeed if you've recently bought a new or used car. Gap insurance is something you should be having to think about, and you can generally get a good product at a really good price from ALA. Often both those things will be nicer than what you're offered at the car dealership, but always check it out because, you know, these things vary. If you use the code JIM10, you can save 10% site-wide with ALA. They're brilliant sponsors. They're great people to deal with, so go and check them out. MGHS 1.5 TGDI plug-in hybrid, 6.8 seconds to 62, 507 litres of boot space, 299 horsepower, 900 quid up front, 300 quid a month, more or less. At its lowest point, it was £290 a month, which is about 6 quid a month less than it is right now. Renault Rafale E-Tech plug-in hybrid Techno Esprit Alpine. 6.5 seconds to 62, 300 brake horsepower, 535 litres of boot space, insurance group 38, 1100 up front and 388 a month. Average of 509 on this. At its lowest point, it was quite a lot lower than this. Back in April, it was 326. But after that, it went up to 432, and it's been 388 now for about a month or so. 768 at its peak, 509 on average, currently 388 with 1166 up front. Audi A5 Saloon TFSI 299 E-Quattro S-Line S-Tronic, 1550 up front and 516 a month, 5.9 seconds to 62, 331 litres of boot space, 299 brake horsepower and insurance group 39. 634 has been the average on it, but when it first came out it was 1065 and then it immediately dropped. See this a lot on the price tracker, and I think it's probably a wee bit misleading. I think 661's probably the lowest price anyone got one of these for, and you know the average is slightly down from that in the real world. 516.74 is the current price, and that is the lowest price we've seen it so far. 1550 up front and 516 a month. Jeep Grand Cherokee Turbo 4xe plug-in hybrid Summit Reserve, 6.3 seconds to 62, 381 brake horsepower, insurance group 49. It's a massive beast of a car. 533 litres of boot space, 2,400 up front and 792 a month. That's pretty much half what it was at its peak-ish. It was 1464 at its peak. Its lowest point was £14 a month less than it is now. Look at this. In April, it was 1,200 quid. In September, over 1,400. And then it just dropped off a cliff basically at the end of June. It was 1237, dropped down to 795, and we've been roughly in that sort of ballpark ever since. 2,378 up front and 792 a month. And the VW Multivan is the last plug-in hybrid. You might have seen this in my last video. 1698 up front, 566 a month. Massively sought after these things. 780 a month. It's been the average on it, 920 at its peak, 4 quid a month less than this at its lowest point. Onto the petrols and diesels now. We've got the Vauxhall Mokka 1.2 Turbo GS, 8.9 seconds to 62, 350 litres of boot space, 835 up front and 278 a month, 405 a month on average, 530 at its peak, a 4 quid less than this at its lowest point. Honda Jazz mild hybrid advance ECVT, 9.6 seconds to 62, 304 litres of boot space, insurance group 22 and 122 brake horsepower, 846 up front and 282 a month. 369's been the average on it. 467 at its peak, and its lowest point was this mad week in January when it was 246 quid a month. It's a car that you rarely see discounted at all. and it had a crazy discount. But to be fair, like, since there's 288 quid's a really good price on that car because they are not cheap. 846 up front and 282 a month. The Qashqai we've seen a million times before, so I'm just going to give you the numbers. 852 up front and 284 a month. This one is the mild hybrid. 367 at its peak, 277 at its lowest point, 312 on average, 284 at the moment. The Citroen C5 Aircross Diesel, this one's been around for a little while now as well. 874 up front and 291 a month. Looks good on this. 420 a month on average, despite it being cheap now for quite a long period of time. And that's because at its peak, it was £622 a month, which is a bit scary. Don't forget, you can get 3 car seats on the back row in that one. And then look at this Transit. This is a hell of a deal. No, normally the commercial vehicles are plus VAT, but I've put this including VAT just to not muddy the waters throughout the deal. It's the Transit Custom 280 L1 2-litre Eco Blue, 110 PS of power, 40 mpg. These have been difficult to get hold of in recent times, and this looks like a really great price on one. £995 up front, £331 a month. 467 was the peak on it, 426 was the average, and 331.96, the current price, is the lowest price we've seen it. That is in stock, and I don't think it will hang around, folks, so don't be surprised if this one goes up in the coming hours or days. Cupra Leon 1.5 TSI V2, a grand up front and 338 a month, 8.9 seconds to 62, 47 mpg, insurance group 21, 380 litres boot space. It's that 150 horsepower engine that's in loads of the VW Group cars. Tried and tested and pretty good. 386 a month on average, 460 at its peak, and a pound less than this, or 60p less than this at its lowest point. Just over a grand up front and 338 a month for a brilliant little car. VW T-Roc, again with that same engine. It's the Black Edition Plus DSG Automatic, 349 a month with a grand up front on a 3-year deal. 532's been the average on it, 376 at its peak, its lowest point was 333. Again, we got the 1.5 VW engine, but this one's the E-Hybrid, which is the mild hybrid, 7.2 seconds to 62 in this one, 204 brake horsepower, 273 litres of boot space, and insurance group 26. Just over a grand up front and 355 a month on a 3-year deal. 407's been the average, 693 at its peak. But again, that peak's just there. So it's 481 for the first, 481, 471 for the first little period. 355 a month with 1,067 up front. Cupra Terramar ETSI 150 V2 DSG. It's that same old engine. Again, not the hybrid, but the 1.5 turbo. 540 litres of boot space in this one. It's only insurance group 22, and it's a good practical car, and I think they look great as well. It's 12 quid a month more than it was at its lowest point, but it's well under its peak price, which was 587, and it's well under its average, which is 478. Don't forget that link to Lease Loco in the video description, folks, and the QR code on your screen. It does help. Genesis G80 2.5 litre turbo luxury line. We've seen this one a lot lately. This one is on no deposit at the moment, so let's change that to 3 months up front, and it really doesn't change the price very much. So I'd be tempted to keep it on just 36 straight monthly payments of 564 a month. 424 litres of boot space, 304 brake horsepower, 6 seconds to 62, 852 a month on average, 1,200 at its peak. Its lowest point was £410, which happened for a mad moment in July. But for a long period now, it's been around 570, 550 in this sort of ballpark. 564 with 564 up front. Spicy one for you is the Audi S3 Saloon 333 Black Edition Quattro S-Tronic. 4.7 seconds to 62, 35 mpg, 333 brake horsepower, 325 litres of boot space, 1,591 up front, 530 a month. 601 has been the average on it, 893 at its peak, 525 and at its lowest point. We saw the A5 Saloon in the plug-in hybrid sections, but here we've got the diesel A5 Avant. 7.7 seconds to 62, 53 mpg, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 36 and 448 litres of boot space, 1,737 up front and 579 a month. 762's been the average on it, 955 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it. For a long period here, this was well over 800 quid. Then it dropped down to sort of the 700 sort of area, and then just recently it's dropped again to sort of sub 600, 579 a month with 1737 up front. Here's a monster for you. It's a big BMW X7 diesel, 2,800 up front and 938 a month. Oh, I'm losing my breath. 5.9 seconds to 62, 35 mpg, 352 brake horsepower, 300 litres of boot space, but that would be with the back row up, I'm sure, because that's a huge thing with 7 seats, one assumes. Nearly £1,100 a month on average, 1,500 at its peak, all bar the shouting. Its lowest point was about 40 quid a month, less than it is right now. 2,814 up front and 938 a month on that BMW X7. And that brings us to the end, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, ALA Insurance, and to please use the link to Lease Loco if you're interested in any of these cars, or indeed if you just want to have a poke around the site. Please, thumbs up, subscriptions. I appreciate them all. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.